The moment that you feel uncomfortable around a person, the moment that your nervous system is literally screaming at you that this isn't right and you're ignoring it, your mind is ignoring it and trying to find loopholes around it, please leave. Leave. That is a pure signal that that relationship is not supposed to last or even form. When someone makes you uncomfortable and feel weird and all of those things, scared, everything, that's a moment to leave. Because what happens is if you don't leave and you might be thinking consciously that this isn't going to happen again. Um, again, just your mind trying to wrap a bow around it, basically. Um, you just really have to be strong and leave. Because I know I'm saying be strong because I know that that isn't everybody's strong suit to walk away from something just, snap so quick. But literally, if you don't leave in those exact moments, if you keep letting your brain tell yourself that it's okay, it's not going to happen again, oh, it's not that bad this time, eventually everything is going to catch up and you're going to resent this person that you're with. And again, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. The literal only way that it will last is if you don't grow up. You don't actually grow up, because when you don't actually, and by grow up, I mean when you actually don't take the time, um, as a person in general, I want to say a woman, but literally as a person, if you don't take the time to understand who you are, the things that you like, the things that you don't like, um, and I feel like that comes with age, you know, um, because you know it's not there's not things that you get when you're 21 versus when you're 28. You know, when you're 19 even versus when you're 25. You know, so you consciously have to elevate on certain things. If you're the same person that you were whenever you're 18 and like you're 30 now, then that's an issue. You have some type of issue. So you have to take time to understand who you are. And if you don't, that is the only way that a relationship that you feel uncomfortable in and that your nervous system tells you anything, I'm uncomfortable, I'm scared, and you don't leave, it's not going to work out. It's only going to work out if you have low self-esteem, you have some type of abandonment issue, etc., that you don't eventually get over. Because whenever you really get over something and you grow, certain things you're going to walk away from, i.e. a toxic relationship. That might even be a job, or anything. But whenever you have just extended and realize that you've extended, it's not gonna work. So that's why it's important to walk away the first time that you feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in any way. Always, choose you. Always. And, always know that guys don't really change. Guys don't really change. They might change for that moment, they might change for some time, but they don't actually change. And if they change a little bit, and I mean just a little bit, then it's like you're already at the point to where that change isn't even, it's registering, but it's like you're so still deep in the fact that, oh, this person said this to me, this person made me feel this way. Your mind is going to always revert back to that. And I feel like, especially, again, when you don't walk away, when something is weird to you, is off, you know, it's like you're going to eventually think about that when that situation doesn't work out. You're going to think about that fact, whether you were with that person for like a month or, whatever. It's going to be a time where you're like, wow, I knew this wasn't going to work out. Why didn't I leave? So it's always important to walk away the first time that, a guy yells at you, a guy disrespects you, a friend even. Walk away from those type of situations the first time. Especially the second. It should not get to a third, but if it gets to a third, walk away that time, okay? And if you don't walk away by the third time, then you are just setting yourself up for a situation full of resentment and chaos. Eventually, you are. Sit up and think that a guy's gonna change if you want to. And what they say, you gonna fuck around and you gonna find out. And a lot of us already have. So this is why I'm saying this. You have to walk away. You have to walk away. You cannot think that this person is not going to do this another time. If you meet a guy early on and he's already like yelling at you or being aggressive with you in any way, saying smart comments and stuff like that, if you think that he isn't gonna continue to do that, especially now, I get it, it's not that easy for us to just be like, okay, yeah, I'm leaving, I'm out of here, the first time somebody just does something. But if he does it after you have spoke on it again, then yes, definitely it's time to leave. It's time to go. Because if a guy really likes you, he's not gonna do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, or uncomfortable. He's not gonna do anything to make you feel uncomfortable if he actually likes you. And that's even later, after, if that relationship actually works out, even when you guys are, having a disagreement, argument, he's not gonna make you feel uncomfortable with his madness or anything. He's not gonna make you feel uncomfortable. And if he does, if your nervous system is uncomfortable in any way, no. Again, especially if you've expressed to him that hey, I didn't like this, you know. And then he does the same thing again. Whether it's 2 weeks later, 2 months later, I don't care. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Because when you fall for it the first time, and then you let it happen a second time, and especially if you don't walk away after that second time, whenever it happens that third time, you start to kind of get immune to the disrespect, you know, the aggression, you know, the put down comments. Your brain kind of gets used to it in a way, to where you're like, okay, it wasn't that bad. He didn't really, or you're like, oh, this is just him. That's when that's gonna be the point where you're just kind of like, you know, oh, maybe this is just him. He didn't mean it. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Fucking mean it. And even if he didn't mean it, it's the fact that you felt uncomfortable. You spoke on it. It happened again, and then it happened again. Even probably after you had spoken on it again. And if you didn't speak on it again, then he's thinking that it's okay. Because that's how guys are. They're not gonna think like, oh, she's just taking it now. Oops, that's something that made her feel this way. I'm not gonna do it no more. Especially after he does it the second time, like I said. And then you do it, he does it a third time, and then you just don't speak on it at all. He's not gonna just register like, oh, let me not do that no more. No, he's gonna think that it's okay. And then it's gonna continue to happen. That's how we get stuck. That's how you get stuck. And again, getting stuck leads to low self-esteem, for one. And as a woman, even as just a regular person, you can't have low self-esteem. You cannot have low self-esteem. You have to, love yourself in some kind of way. Fully is the goal, but in some kind of way, you have to love yourself. And if you're with someone that, is making you not love yourself, is making you pick yourself apart, that's not the type of relationship that you want to be in. Someone that's making you nervous, someone that makes you feel like, oh, you can't be yourself fully, you can't say this. If you're with someone that makes you, again, those are feelings of uncomfortability. So, I'm not just speaking in the, oh, he's scaring me way. I'm speaking in general uncomfortability. If there is any of that, then you need to walk away the first time. Because it just continues to get worse. You get used to it, and again, it starts to eat at your self-esteem. And I just feel like, as a woman, if you have low self-esteem, and again, as a person, I'm sorry, as just a person in general, I'm sorry, if you have low self-esteem in general, it doesn't matter who you are, that eats at your motivation, it eats at your everything. If something is eating at your motivation, it's eating at everything that you have, that you are. Your motivation, you're going to be tired, you're going to be lazy, you're not going to want to do this, you're not going to want to do that, you're not going to want to put on makeup, because you're going to start to feel like, why? Because your self-esteem is low, because you're letting this person fuck you up. So, no, walk away the first time, or I guarantee you, you will regret it. You will regret it. So, as women, we need to learn how to walk away gracefully. That doesn't mean that you have to like cuss them out and all of that. I don't suggest doing that. You know, I suggest getting out of whatever situation you're in, whether you're in the car with that person, you at that person's house, you need to leave, and then you probably want to. It's depending on how long it was that you've known this person, you probably either need to, block them or send them a text explaining why, and probably not even doing that. If they made you feel uncomfortable, fuck an explanation. You don't even owe them that. Just block them. Just delete their number, block them on everything. No, no, you will regret it. You will regret it if you don't do that. If you don't do that. No. Don't sit there and be like, oh, he didn't mean it. Even if he apologizes, even if he show up to your house, banging on your window. No. 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 Don't. If he's doing that anyway, he's crazy. So, you don't want that anyway. No. So, yeah, walk away. Walk away. Walk away. The right guy will not make you feel, uncomfortable. There's a thing people say, like butterflies and, all of that. There's a difference between the butterflies when you really actually like this person and nervous. And I'm not talking about the good nervous, the bad nervous, where you're like, you peeping it in your mind. That's why you're tensing up. Like, So, yes, I'm talking about that feeling. If he yells at you in a weird way, in an aggressive way, like really yells at you, even if he's not even really yelling, but it's making you tense, leave. Because, again, hopefully you do the self-work after some time to realize that you need to walk away from this situation. And even after you do that, you're gonna, again, depending on how much you care about this person, love this person, again, how long it's been, whatever, you're gonna think about, wow, I already knew this. Wow, he made me uncomfortable that night, and I just let him. Or, oh, I did notice that he had anger issues. My brain was trying to tell me that he had these anger issues, but I just thought that he would eventually get out of it. No, he's not. He's not. He's not. I promise you, he is not. It's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. If you accept it, if you don't put a stop to it right then, and he never does it again. If he ever does it again, no. So, yeah, these were just my thoughts. Check me out in the next one.